Haringey Council is facing a backlash after agreeing to the sale of Hornsey Town Hall. It's a Grade 2 listed building, plus enough land to build 128 housing units to overseas investors. 12 Labour councillors have rebelled against the proposed sale over fears that the properties will go to foreign investors and not become affordable homes for local people. There will be a public meeting at Haringey Civic Centre tonight. Catherine West, MP for Hornsey and Wood Green, opposes the sale and joins me on the programme this morning. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning.
Would you mind describing the building to those of us who don't live in Haringey? What is it like, this building, this Hornsey Town Hall?
Well, it's a beautiful old 1920s building with all of the sort of Art Deco style furnishings inside as well as out. It's still used a lot for filming. And thankfully, that's not going to be the issue, because we know that the Heritage Lottery Fund is going to help eventually, and it desperately needs to be done up.
Help eventually do what?
And, but it will be basically done up so that it'll be, hopefully, a community resource. But I think that's where the issue is.
But I thought the point was that they've sold it.
Well, it's going to be on a long lease, 125-year lease. But
Right.
I think the point is that a lot of us have been asking for a long time that it go to a not-for-profit, because we are worried about the area out the front where the Crouch End Festival is held and so on.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's try to describe what's happening. Yeah. Is that building, the Grade 2 listed building that you have just described, the Hornsey Town Hall, is that what's going to be converted into flats, or is it just that flats are going to be built on the land?
It's going to be, the flats will be built at the car park at the rear in order to fund the refurbishment, which sounds good. The only trouble is that this overseas developer is going to try and make a very quick buck, which means that rather than choosing a not-for-profit, let's say a housing association, which might take a longer view and might involve the community more and might be slightly less driven by the financial incentive. Instead, I think my fear is that this company, which is has its profits based in the Cayman Islands, may well just be seeking to make as many private flats as possible, none of whom will go to the people who come to my advice surgery in desperate housing need, or indeed to local families who may wish to, settle in Crouch End.
But is the council allowed to sell the property and the land without stipulating certain percentage of affordable housing? Is that legal? Are they allowed to do that?
Well, the stipulation is 4 out of 128 units, which I think is a bit unambitious, given that housing is the number one priority for most of Londoners in order to try and remain in London and to keep living here. So many people are stuck in expensive rented accommodation.
Right, is this locking the stable door after the horse has bolted, given that the sale has been agreed? Haringey Council has already agreed the sale, and now you're protesting.
I've been writing to the council for about 3 years about this, begging them to do a not-for-profit with a housing association in a long-term arrangement, which would both provide security for some of the small businesses which are based in the town hall, but also so that we can have more affordable as part of the quantum of homes which have to be built on the car park.
What does the council say it's going to do with the money?
Well, I think that it's part of the refurbishment process, I understand. And I think that that's one model of doing this. But the trouble is, with a private developer, you can't really secure the use for the community. It's much more difficult to secure the use for the community. And I am worried that the beloved Crouch End Festival and all those other things which happen might be at risk if it's a private developer who won't listen to what local people have to say.
And what power have you got to stop what's going on?
Well, it's within the period of call-in, which means that even though the decision has been taken, the decision can't be implemented until the call-in period is closed. And this is why many of us have written and begged the council to think again. And hopefully the council will think again, because it's so important. And even, the Mayor of London has recognised that, these overseas buyers who come in and, take up all the land, particularly public land. I think that's the upsetting thing, that, profit from public
Apart from
land.
the festival that you've mentioned, the Crouch End Festival, which can't go on for more than a week or so a year, what happens to that land at the moment the rest of the time? What goes on that land?
People just sit on it at lunchtime and enjoy the sun if it's sunny, or we have the Christmas tree there in the winter. And we have little markets there sometimes when there's something special going on, like a Christmas market. We often have the choir performing. We wouldn't want, for example, a little community choir to have to beg a developer, please could we, use your land, when actually that land really is public land.
And finally, are they actually selling it, or are they leasing the land? What's going on? Are they selling the land but only leasing the town hall building, or are they leasing the whole thing?
I understand that the whole footprint includes the green, the courtyard outside the town hall, and the car park. And this 125-year lease, which is very long, but it does enable the developer to, use that, basically fund the refurbishment, etc. And I know that has to be done. I would just like it to be done with a not-for-profit where we could secure the community.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much indeed. Catherine West there, MP for